Yes, guys, and welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102. Garry Johnston's Dusseldorf save, part 5. Now, he did send it to me yesterday, and it did say final part. Now, that could mean anything, couldn't it? It could mean that he's putting the end to the save, but it could just mean that he's putting the end to it being reviewed. Could be a number of reasons. Could be the end of the Dusseldorf reign, where he's then going to move on. Who knows? But you may recall the previous part was midway through Season 4. So we've come to the end of Season 4 now, it looks like. Let's see how we ended up. I fancied him to win the title. I really did. And he hasn't just won a title. He's fucking obliterated it. It's good that Dortmund and Bayern ended up climbing up there to finish second and third, because it makes that title look even more sweeter, I feel. Superb stuff there, Garry. Let's just have a look at that. Look at that. Top of the table all season long. Look at Dortmund. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal. When you put it into that chart perspective, you know, maybe it wasn't all quite as plain sailing as what that chart suggests. Who knows? But who gives a shit? He won the title with 9 points clear of the nearest rivals, which of course was Dortmund from last season, who won the title. Over to, let's have a look at the German Cup. Oh, he took it. He beat Stuttgart in the final. Nicely done. Oh, God, I fucking hate that sweeper. Nicely done. Deserved, no doubt about that. Well done there. Now the question is, I haven't got a clue. Did he do the treble? Did he do the treble? Are we ready? Are we ready? Did he do the treble? Oh, you did it the hard way. Fuck you, Garry. Okay, so Blackburn. Let me just have a look now then. Who did he take on in the quarterfinals? That's a cracking result over Man United in the quarterfinals. Semi-finals, Barcelona. And I think if I was Garry after that semi-final victory, I'd have been rubbing my hands at landing Blackburn in the final. But it wasn't quite as plain sailing. And fucking hell. Okay, absolutely brilliant. So, to be honest with you, right, I can now get a perspective as to why this is probably the final part, or at least the final part of the chapter of Dusseldorf, because, you know, he's done an absolutely remarkable job. Let's have a look now then who the standout players were. Let's do it on... no, that's not what I want to do. Let's do it on stats. So, who was the assist machine? 33 appearances, 10 assists for the forward, yep. Looks good, looks good. Now, this guy here, yeah, is it Anchouet? I think Anchouet is a fucking brilliant player. Absolutely brilliant. And what a player. I mean, 750, what an absolute fucking... That's going to be his auto value, isn't it? What an absolute fucking steal. And he's still only 25. That's the beauty of that. In terms of goals then, well, we said, didn't we? We mentioned him, didn't we? Claudio Pizarro, what a player. That must be the best £12 million he's ever spent. I bet he was a bit reluctant or a little bit apprehensive about spending so much, but what an absolute player that has proved to be. Let's have a look at it like this. I think sometimes it's easier. Diarra. Did he buy any more players? Now, we were looking, weren't we? We were looking at... he had some players come in, and he did answer, actually, that he'd probably pull out of one. Was it Peter Sand? Because I think Peter Sand is awful. I say awful, he's not awful at all, but he's not good enough at this stage now for Garry. But whether Garry is going to continue, because he's obviously got Ricardo George arriving. Yeah, I like him. That. Yeah, okay. So I like him. I do like him. We've got a guy from Frankfurt. Questionable. I'd say that's a questionable one. And that had to be the Belarusian, didn't it? It is a strange one because he's got so many shit attributes, but so many good attributes. And I think, if I remember rightly, Garry, you got him on one of your previous saves as well, didn't you? A question now: where's his best position? Because he hasn't got the passing to be DMC. He hasn't got the positioning to be DC. So I'm intrigued to know where you find his best position. But what a season. What an absolute remarkable season. Let's have a look at his money. Oh, he's rich. I suppose a bit of prize money's kicked in there as well, isn't it? Let's have a look if he flogged any players. No one of interest. So, you know, I think you'll join me in saying a huge congratulations to Garry. I think he's had an absolute remarkable season. There's now an element of what more is there to do, and I think there's a, you know, when I my game with Matt, when I took Benfica, it didn't get boring. It takes a lot for something to get boring if you're taking a team that you've not been before, or it's a challenge from the low tier. You know, it's almost like you're constantly building. I mean, he can still build on this. There's no doubt about that. You could argue, well, you know, what is there to win? Well, there is something to win because he's going to, you know, I don't know if this is going to be a season where he can go into the World Club Cup. Maybe he could go into this. He'll go into the Super Cup, the Intercontinental Cup. That will spur him on to start next season at Dusseldorf, or Liverpool is available now. Garry, have you applied? That is what everyone wants to know now. Have you applied? Let me just have a look at that. Right. Well, we don't know, do we? So they've only recently actually. You know, now that would be interesting. I actually think if he was to go to Liverpool at the back of that would be a good move in respect of keeping the game going. The only downside of moving clubs is it ruins the effect of calling it a Dusseldorf save. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you could call it a Dusseldorf save and aim to start at Dusseldorf and aim to end at Dusseldorf, if that makes sense. Sort of go full circle. I think Liverpool would be a good move for the simple reason. They've not been at their best, have they? They really haven't. Let's just have a look at where they've finished. 13th last season. That's awful. I'm sure. Look at that. What an awful season in comparison to the last 3 seasons. That's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Let's just have a look at landmarks a minute. And the only reason Julier's gone is because he's gone to Bilbao. Lucky bastard. I bet he would have got sacked otherwise. Let's have a look at the managerial stats. Yeah, world class in Germany. It's got to be world class. Okay, that is questionable. I think to have such a good year, that will possibly. I'd have thought that would have got it to world class by now. So that might spur him on to remain with Dortmund. To remain with Dusseldorf. Who knows? Who knows? Let me just go back to the job information again. See if there's anything that might come of. You never know what might come after the updates. Maybe has he got Scotland open? Maybe Rangers could come up. You never know, do you? You never know. And that's it from me then, guys. Hopefully we'll see a new season of this. I'm hopeful. Garry, the fans want to see a new season. They want to see a new chapter, or they want to see you retain the title, because they say it's harder to retain the title than it is to win it outright. So good luck, Garry. Till next time from me, guys. Take it easy.